Hello everybody, RegiTime here, and it's my first YouTube video in a while. Just to let you know what's going on at the moment, I've just started streaming again on Twitch. I've been doing it for like 5 days now, got my sub button, which is really cool, and I'm also running like a little investment challenge where I've got 10 people from my Facebook group who have all invested £20 each, and we're playing 14 streams on Sky, probably going to add up to about 30 hours of play. We're going to split the profits 50-50, so if we end up with say £400, then I keep 100 and each investor makes a tenner for the £20 investment plus the £20 back, of course. I'm doing that primarily just to try and get more viewer engagement, and it seems to be working. We only had 9 people watching tonight, but almost every one of them was chatting, and yeah, hopefully we can just slowly grow the stream. Growing a Twitch stream is incredibly difficult. I mean, I did it for several months at one point and still only got up to like 15-16 regular views, so it's very difficult, but I'm going to be putting a lot of time into Twitch, so please pop over and check that out. The link's below. You can find me in the directory at RegiTime Poker, but I'm going to put the link below the video. Hopefully you can come and join me. Most of the streams are going to be around 11:30ish PM start times, between 11 and midnight. Hopefully some of you guys can come over there and join and get involved in the chat, get involved in whatever you, and just help me to develop the stream. And then for YouTube, because I'm not playing on Sky when I'm not streaming, because the whole point of it is every hand's going to be played in the stream, so there's like full transparency on results. When I'm not playing, I'm going to be doing little bits and bobs on Pokerstars. I've just popped $100 on here. We're going to do the first video is like 10 on Zoom. We might do some PLO, we might do some sit and goes, we might do some stud games. It's going to be a bit of a lucky bag of all different games, and just like try and put out 2 videos a week on YouTube, because I'm going to have a lot of downtime during the day where I can't play on Sky, so then I'll be playing on Pokerstars, because I know you guys like seeing Pokerstars games. We'll do a bit of everything, a bit of 10 full ring like we are tonight, some 6 max, PLO for sure, sit and goes for sure. Not sure about the stud games. I enjoy playing them, but I'm rubbish at them, and I'm not sure how entertaining it will be. And who knows, maybe even some like MTT stuff, but I doubt it, because I mean, who wants to see a fucking 8 hour or 6 hour or 4 hour MTT video? Yeah, but for tonight we're hitting the 10 Zoom tables because a player that I'm working with at the moment, Dennis, has requested some full ring videos. So this one and at least one more is going to be full ring, and then we're going to delve deep into the lucky bag, and we're just going to play fucking all kinds of like small stakes games, just to introduce the games to some of you guys who don't play them, and just for fun as much as anything else. I mean, hopefully you guys will learn something along the way. Hopefully I'll learn something too. Just to let you guys know who don't know, the job that I was going for, or that was offered, didn't work out. When I went to take a look at it, well, 17/4, we can fold the ace queen versus that dude. Yeah, when I went to look at it, it didn't work out. I think I've already explained it, but just in case you guys missed the video, so I am back, and as usual, I'm always on the lookout for anyone who is struggling at poker. If any of you guys want to get in touch and maybe take some sessions with me, I've certainly got some vacancies at the moment because I wound everything down, and it's currently only working with one person on a long-term basis, and I've been doing some one-off sessions with various other people. But yeah, I'm absolutely, well, let me just see what I'm doing here first. Limped pot, I check raised, he called. I'm going to bet the turn, and then just only bet rivers when we hit a flush, I guess. He's called twice. We block a lot of his draws, so I think he's going to be much more just in the Jack X region. Yeah, so I'm absolutely, if any of you guys have been thinking for a while, let's take, oh, here's 7 of clubs, let's take a session with Reggie, and or maybe take a package. I'm certainly back open for business. If any of you guys do want to get involved in that way, please do get in touch. I've got some, I want to be busy. I'm busy with the Twitch stuff. I want to be busy again with playing poker. I want to be busy again with like helping people with the games, doing a bit of mentoring, coaching. So now's the time to get in touch, because I've certainly got like a decent amount of spare time at the moment to get involved with that stuff, especially if you're wanting like coaching during that daytime hours of UK time, like between, well, any time and 10 PM at night. again, I do specialise in helping like recreational losing players and what have you. If you're already a winning player, then getting in touch isn't going to do you much good. I wouldn't have thought. We kind of have to call again here now. We've picked up the flush draw. I don't like it much. I mean, it's full ring. People are nitty. Raising seems out of the question. And I mean, we're just going to go check and lose here. Look, we chop with ace queen, we do beat ace jack, and we beat like flush draws like king queen spades, things like that maybe double barrel. Good stuff. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of his turn barrel there. In full ring, I think it's 6 max, it would be fine. I think in full ring it's ambitious. Certainly for the size that he chose anyway. Although if I had ace queen offsuit, maybe it would have worked, so who knows. Who knows. You're going to see me playing very tight in these games. I mean, it's just how we have to play full ring. It's certainly not for everybody, but you know, I genuinely think there's like 10NL Zoom. I've said it before. I think 10NL Zoom full ring is a great training ground for MTT players to like work on their early stage MTT game. So I think it's definitely MTT players could learn a decent amount from this. If you struggle in the early stages of MTTs, maybe watching these videos and playing some 10NL Zoom in your downtime would certainly help you with that, or even 5NL Zoom, depending on what your bankroll is. And I think there's a ton of 6 max players who are currently losing, who would probably be able to make themselves winning players in these games, because undoubtedly they're softer than 6 max, just because you don't get put in anywhere near as many tough spots. You can play tighter ranges, you're not forced to play as many hands, etc. I think there's tons of losing 6 max players. Like Dennis would be one of them, who like, he came to me, he was playing 6 max, he'd been coached by somebody else, and in my opinion not been coached that great. I'm not going to say who that coach was, because I'm not going to get in any like flaming wars with anybody, but yeah, he'd been coached by somebody else. I think he'd been coached quite badly. He came to me, he was just like scared money all over the place. Not scared money, sorry, just scared to ever like play his hands. He'd been taught to pretty much fucking check everything, be scared of every board. He was in a pretty bad way, to be fair, when he came. We did some 6 max work, he improved quite a bit, and then he just said, you know what, I think I want to go back to full ring. And since then, he's been like super happy, he's been having some good results, he's just found his comfort zone. And I think a lot of us, you know, we play 6 max because we think, oh, we have to play 6 max, and there's lots of guys out there I think would be better trying to play like a pretty genuine old school tag game in full ring games than they are trying to play 6 max and just being out of the comfort zone in lots of spots where they're just, you know, they find life difficult. It's not for everybody, it is pretty dull. I mean, I certainly enjoy full ring. Probably more than 6 max, to be fair. I much prefer a soft 6 max game, but if I had to play Pokerstars 10NL Zoom, I would rather play the full ring variant than the 6 max variant. And if 25NL Zoom was still a thing, I would absolutely play that as my regular game, but it isn't. So I don't. It's sad that 25NL Zoom died, but I understand why. But who knows, maybe we can make full ring cool again. But I definitely think it's like, for many microstakes losing players, switching from 6 max to full ring would, if nothing else, it would cut your losses, and in a lot of cases make you into a winning player, because you're just not putting anywhere near as many tough spots. And if you've got carry some like reasonable 6 max aggression over with you, you'll actually find yourself being one of like the more aggressive players in the game. Whereas quite often in 6 max we can feel ourselves getting run over a lot and feeling like everyone's just fucking pushing us around. Then you move to full ring and it feels like nobody's pushing you around, and then maybe you can be like the biggest like dog in the schoolyard. Oh, that's a fucking terrible metaphor. That is fucking dreadful, but you know what I mean. Maybe you can be like the guy that's doing the bullying all of a sudden. You could be the guy that's putting more people in tough spots because you're playing against more players that are like weaker than yourself. I played about 700 hands of this game earlier today. I ran pretty pure. Won a couple of buy-ins. I think won 3 buy-ins or something. I mean, I don't know what my win rate would be in these games. I've typically 4-tabled it in the past. I think 2-tabling it, I think I could have a win rate that's definitely in excess of 10 over a huge sample or a big sample. Almost certainly. I mean, the key to these games is just like be the nit, don't be the guy that's giving the action to the guys who are being aggressive, and then try and be like somewhat aggressive yourself when you're the guy who's got the initiative and what have you. It's not a particularly difficult game to beat. You don't have to go like deep down the rabbit hole and super complex. You can just be like a pretty, I mean, I would say you could play as tight as 10-8 in these games and still have a decent win rate. I tend to come out around the 12, 10, 13, 11 type place, which is fucking obviously for most of you guys mega nitty, but I think it's close to optimal in these games. I really do. I think if you start being much looser than that, you end up being the guy that's throwing a party for the nitty regulars. I mean, I played 700 hands as well, and it keeps your rake like right down to. I played 700 something hands today. I paid 270 in rake because we're just playing so tight. Not in love with this, but we're in position. We have a suited Broadway. Very rare I fold a suited Broadway to a 3-bet in 6-max or in full ring. Although we do need to be careful on this board that we don't like call too many bets. I think my plan is probably going to be call flop if he see bets and then just shut down turn if he barrels. For the most part. And yeah, you could have like aces, kings, ace, queen, king, queen, stuff like that. If he checks this turn, I think we're probably going to be good. We're going to check back and then just probably call some rivers. Again, I don't think we can get too much action from worse hands here because he just doesn't have many worse hands in his range that can call. He has worse hands that would have head off, but they can't call, in my opinion. If he checks again, I think we can safely bet small for value and just hope he's got a hand like pocket tens, or he just gets mega curious with like an ace king, something like that. I mean, I want to try and get called by ace king here. I think given we bet so small, I'm probably going to be forced to call a raise if he makes one, because I wouldn't understand what you're representing there by c-bet flop check turn check river. I think probably have to call because I think the bet size can sometimes induce some spew. An unknown probable fish opening early position here to 2.5x. Or you can make a small 3-bet if it falls to us. I would usually 3-bet to a bigger size, but number not known. But due to its tax size, I think this is normal. I think it's fine. If we had 100 blinds, I would have made it like 85 to 95. I'm going to call him and hope this guy still comes along. Then we're just going to like fast play the flop like as if we've got a set no matter what the board comes down. So if he calls and then he c-bets, we're just going to like re-jam over it. I'm hoping he's going to like maybe have a hand like jacks now and just jam with it, thinking whatever. Thinking maybe he just wants to like, maybe he thinks I'm weak. There you go. There's your full ring in a nutshell. Kings versus aces. In it goes. Yeah, normally I would just jam there, of course, pre-flop, but given this other guy was in the pot, I think just calling, maybe it just incentivizes him to like maybe one time in 20 just like spaz out with the hand. Oh shit, I said spaz out, I don't like saying that. Just like freak out with the hand and jam. Do apologise if that offended anybody. It's a fucking word I hate. It's just used in poker, isn't it? And occasionally it just slips out, and I really annoyed myself by saying it. I deeply apologise for that. I fucking despise the word. It's really disappointing that it's come out of my fucking mouth, given the work that I do and the respect I have for the people that I work with. Oh, never mind. It's been said now. I mean, I don't mean it in that context. It's just like a poker term, isn't it? Like, you know. Yeah, but still, nevertheless. Very disappointed myself. Videos are probably going to last half an hour at a time, I think. Maybe try and get 2 recorded tonight and then put them out on 2 separate days. I should probably start trying to tag some more players. I think these are like pretty good stats. 17, 13, 2. It's certainly on the looser side, but I'll tag them as like a decent regular for the time being. And 17, 13 at full ring, in my opinion, is a bit like a 26, 20 or something at full ring, at 6 max. That kind of equivalent style of play. Jack's like once we elect to just call pre-flop and we get 2 overcards and someone c-bets, then I think we kind of just give up. This guy's tagged purple, which means I think he's an aggressive regular. Need to defend the suited Broadway, I think, especially when another player comes along, because it kind of protects us from him c-betting too late, given that he now needs to try and bet to get through 2 players. Certainly going to stab here on the turn if this orange tag player checks. If he bets, then we're done. But I just don't think this guy has very much. He has like pocket 10s, ace king, ace jack, some random bluffs. And when he doesn't see bet at that dry board, I think we can try and double barrel against him. I think he's certainly going to have like enough bluffs in his 3-betting range. He looks like a very loose aggressive player by full ring standards, so he's going to have some bluffs in his button range we can just get through, rather than just check down and lose to ace high. And I think we have to try and bluff this river. We just have to, I think. Shouldn't have too many aces. The aces he does have is going to be like ace queen, I guess. When he has to fold stuff like pocket 10s now, doesn't he? Pocket 9s, things like that. That can certainly call a turn there and have to fold to that river. Minutes already, but we started off with a bit of a preamble, didn't we? So we're probably going to go to like 33 or something and make another half-hour video straight after it that will come out a couple of days after this one. and then I'm going to go to bed because we're recording this at 0207. Potential fish here, so we're going to happily 3-bet our ace king. I'm going to check back here and then maybe double barrel if he checks again. $15.10 with a 0-4 to 3-bet so far. Won't be over like an absurdly small sample size. Just going to stab small here. Give up unless we improve. I'm aware some of you guys, especially 6-max guys, you might give up watching by now even. This is just how the games need to be played in these games. You're going to keep it pretty tight. You're going to wait for good starting hands, wait for good flops. It's not a game of tons of creativity. It's full ring. It is what it is. It's much simpler than 6-max, but it's also in a lot of ways it's much more boring than 6-max. I don't mind boring. Boring's fine if we're making money. Boring's not fine if we're not making money. But yeah, as I said earlier, I think full ring's a good option for many struggling 6-max players. They don't want to make the switch back. That people don't want to feel like they've given up, or like, oh, you know, so many people are just so obsessed with, oh, I need to prove I can beat this game. Well, do you need to prove it, or can you just go and do something else that you do beat? Maybe it's just not for you. Maybe you're not quite good enough to beat 6-max games. Maybe you don't have the time to put into studying as much as you need to do to beat the games. Maybe you don't need to study as much to play full ring, and you just need to be pretty disciplined and look to like value bet really well and make some pretty tight folds. And it's a lot easier game to read for sure, because ranges are just much narrower. You know, when people raise you on the flop or whatever, usually they're going to have the goods, so it's much easier to fold. It's much easier to fold when you get raised by a 15-11 than it is to fold when you get raised by a 25-20 with an aggression factor of 3.5 and all those sort of things. I guess it depends what you want from poker. Personally, I just want to enjoy the game and make some money. Some people want the challenge of, like, I really need to be able to beat X, Y, and Z. That's never really been my thing. Completely giving up here, no pair, no draw. The other dude have their Queen Jack suited. So I mean, that's one where we probably could have won with a couple of stabs, but never mind. instantly going for the fast fold there, and noticed I had kings. I've been known to, when I've been 4-tabling Zoom, I've been known to just fast fold all kinds of strong hands. Pretty tilting when you do it, but whatever. Yeah, so let me know what games you'd like to see anyway. If you've reached this far in the video, you deserve a say in what we see. What we'd like me to do next, we're going to do like these 2 full ring videos, and then we'll move on to something else. What would you like to see next? At the moment, with the money you've got on the site, we're not going to be moving above like $10 buy-ins, whatever it is. If it's sit and goes, we're going to probably be doing the $5 ones, or whatever the closest to $5 is. Cash games, 10-cent big blinds going to be the biggest we're going to go, and obviously in stud games we can go up to like maybe 51. I usually check raise sets, but not on this board. Now we can check raise. He doesn't give us the opportunity. What do I think he has here? Aces, queens. Hopefully ace queen. Hopefully not pocket jacks or king jack. Sure, some of you guys are tearing your hair out at just how like nitty I'm playing. But again, we're playing 13-11, which in my opinion is pretty close to optimal for these games. It always kind of makes me feel like I want to peel these types of hands, but nope, we're not going to. I mean, a 6-max game, that could easily be a 3-bet. Very, very easily, certainly. Excuse me. You're either going to 3-bet or call with it. We're almost never going to fold it. But in full ring, you know, you're up against much stronger ranges. And, yeah, I just don't think the value's there. Probably not the best phrasing there, but yeah, I don't think there's much profit in 9-7 suited versus early position in a full ring game. Against a fish there is, we can either 3-bet or call it against a fish, but not against a regular. When another regular calls, it's just going to lose money in my opinion. And there's just no reason to be like going after those, like if there is any edge there, small edges when we can just sit. not get punished for playing really tight, and just like wait for the goods and wait for like decent, not necessarily always waiting for good hands, but just waiting for good situations, really, like really good situations. You don't need to force it in full ring, and sometimes we feel like, I know I certainly do, you think you've got to like force it a bit more in six max, you know, because everyone's kind of got wider ranges. In full ring games where people don't have particularly wide ranges, you just don't have to force anything. Your blind isn't getting relentlessly stolen, you're not getting relentlessly 3-bet, you can just sit, plod along, and just be patient and just wait for good hands or good situations. I'm gonna bet twice here. I think he probably doesn't have an ace very often. I mean, maybe he does. Guess we'll find out at some point. He goes for a check raise, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but who gives a shit, because we've got pocket sixes, so it's really not a big deal there. I mean, it might just be him being like a little bit aggressive and spewy. He might just have like be playing a value hand that way. Either way, couldn't really give a shit when I've got pocket sixes, whatever. Again, 6-5 suited. If a fish was somewhere around, we could think about playing it, but 6-5 versus under the gun and a call, well, our equity is just going to be so shit. I mean, yeah, you could argue we have like some implied odds, but these games play like so weak tight. Even when you make like a flush, it's not like if we can make a flush or a straight, we're going to stack aces. We're just not. That's not going to happen. It's not 2008 anymore. We usually either going to like sometimes win some smallish pots, and a lot of the times if all the money goes in, we've got a 6-5 flush, we're going to be crushed. It does lend itself to like some reasonable semi-bluff opportunities, but that's about it. Just no reason to really be playing those hands. That if you're playing early stages of tournaments and there's plenty of fish around, you should absolutely be like speculating with those hands. But there's just not many fish in these games, so therefore you've got to just got to run a tight ship, haven't you, basically? Which I guess it's a skill tons of people don't have. They just don't have enough patience to play these games. I mean, I do. I have patience in bucket loads, and the minute I find myself getting slightly impatient, well then it's probably because I'm feeling a bit tilted or bored or whatever, fed up being card dead, and I just go and do something else. I just decide, well, you know what, not feeling good about this anymore, it's been a bad session or whatever, I'm fed up, I'm now starting to consider playing hands that I know I shouldn't play, so it's time to pack in, time to take a break. But yeah, we'll play around to our blinds and we'll wrap this video up and then dive straight into the next one. This guy's got 100% full to C bet so far, so he's going to bet small and hope he just calls with something. But would fold to a larger bet. I'm going to bet this turn and then check back rivers, I think. We still get value from worst aces. If he's got like king queen with a diamond, he's probably going to want to call too, so we're going to bet here. If he raises, we've got a trivial fold. If he calls, we're just going to check back pretty much all rivers. Not I think we're going to get raised a lot or folded a lot versus there, but I don't just want to like give him a free run at a diamond. These are the guys that don't get, like, they've learned to play relatively tight, 15-12, good stats, you know, reasonable stats the guy's got, and he's playing like a 388 stack. Do not understand those guys. I don't know what's going on with them. No pair, no draw, and no chance of sucking out if he has an ace. So we're certainly not going to stab, and now he's checked twice. We're just going to bet twice and hope to take the pot down at some point. I do a lot of delayed c-betting in full ring, especially on those types of boards. I've looked at pair here, some backdoor stuff. We call once. I think it's a very good chance we're behind here, but now we're getting a reasonable price to try and improve on a later street. Just squeeze the jacks here for sure, fold into a 4-bet. It's a pretty fucking minging flop. As I'm concerned, the hands are over now. Zero intention of c-betting here. Come on, king ball one time. I just said one time. What a cunt. What a cunt. I'm going to check it back and expect to lose here most of the time. Still. 3s and 9s. Well, there you go. There you go. Happy to win that one. Don't think we missed any value. Don't think any value to be had there. It's just one of those hands where it's just like hope to have the best hand and what have you. So that's the end of the video. I'm sure lots of you guys didn't enjoy it, and I'm sure not many of you got all the way to the end of it. If you have got all the way to the end of it, and you want to choose the next game, choose the next game. But like also, so I know you've got to the end. Tell me who your favourite football team is. So if you type your favourite football team and then do a game choice for next time, we'll certainly make a video of that. Take care everybody, and bye for now.